One of those candidates vying for the 2024 GOP nomination, Mayor Francis Suarez, joins us now from Miami. Mayor Suarez, welcome to Morning Rush. Thank you for being here. So let's just start with this. Why do you want to be in the White House in 2024?
I want to be in the White House in 2024 because I feel that I have the unique qualifications to serve our country at this given moment, given the national problems that we're facing. Of course, the first is inflation. I'm the only public official that has cut a budget. I've cut a budget by 20%, which is precisely how much we have to cut the federal budget. As a Hispanic Republican, I would be in the best position to solve immigration and the immigration crisis in our country, which is a multi-decade, multi-administration crisis. And third, confronting China, which is an economic and national security threat. I'm the only candidate in the field that has created an ecosystem to take advantage of the generational opportunities for ourselves, our children, and our unborn grandchildren.
And Mr. Mayor, could you talk a little bit about something that's never been done in our politics before, and that is making what is a pretty extraordinary jump from City Hall to the White House? What has prepared you for that role, and especially considering that the mayorship in Miami is part-time and largely ceremonial?
Well, like I said, I mean, I've had to take some tough choices to cut budgets, which no other candidate in the field has done. The courage to make those choices doesn't depend on the number of zeros. And I was also president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, so I've got a special insight into how cities work and what's not working in cities across America. You see, 85% of Americans live in American cities and towns, and 91% of the GDP produced by this country is produced by people who live in American cities and towns. So I'm not just a regular mayor, I'm a mayor of a big city, and I was also the president of all the mayors in the country. And we've put forth a formula that can be scaled for prosperity in America, to keep taxes low, keep people safe, and to lean into innovation.
And I want to ask you about something that you mentioned, your immigration policy and how it's a multi-faceted problem that needs different types of solutions. What would be your solution if you were in the White House to something that there has not really been a clear-cut solution for over the past decades?
There really hasn't. And obviously, we all agree that we have to secure the border. Everyone agrees on that. Even Democratic mayors agree that we have to secure the border. The border's out of control. We're getting 80 to 90,000 people who are dying from fentanyl that's being pushed through our border. It's a human trafficking crisis, and it's also creating chaos across our country. But in addition to that, we have to depower China. We're giving China $1 trillion of our wealth, and they're using that wealth in the form of a trade deficit and the stealing of our IP to subvert us in our own hemisphere. They're creating poverty and a rise of leftist governments in South America, which is creating more immigration pressure on the U.S. We've got to reshore our supply chain and use those resources to create partnerships in our region so that we can settle down these immigration pressures that we're seeing from South America. I think the other thing we have to do, which no one really likes to talk about, is we need to right-size legal immigration. Legal immigration has to benefit America, and it has to be pegged to objective metrics like unemployment or the fact that we have a declining birth rate. We have that also in common with China. The difference is nobody wants to go to China. Everybody wants to come to the U.S. And then I think a Hispanic Republican president would be in the best position to deal with the tens of millions of undocumented illegal immigrants that we have in our country, to find a path to figure out what legal status they get, if any.
According to a profile of you, a brief one in the New York Times, there have been occasions where you have bucked the Republican line, as they say. You did not support Donald Trump in 2020. You did not support DeSantis for governor in 2018. Just 3 litmus test questions for, I've asked other Republican candidates on the show just to get a sense of kind of where you are on a few things. Was the election in 2020 free and fair?
Yes, I feel that it was.
Is Joe Biden the legitimate president of the United States?
Yes,
okay.
He is the legitimate president this time of year.
You'd be surprised the variety of answers we've gotten to some of these. And lastly, okay. January 6th, insurrectionist or tourist?
Look, I think the people who burst into the Capitol, it was a horrible day in the history of this country. Something that should never have happened, and should have been stopped. It should have been prevented.
So you would agree they were insurrectionists more than tourists?
I don't think tourists break into the Capitol.
Okay, fair enough.
Why do you think voters should vote for you and not any other candidate?
Because, like I said, I think I present a unique offering. In addition to the qualifications that I mentioned and the three biggest issues facing our country, I think I'm the only candidate that has a record of unifying and being unifying and inspiring. And I think that's what Americans are hoping for. That's what they're seeking. I think the kryptonite of democracy right now is division. We are having a toxic conversation in this country. I was elected by 85% and reelected by 80% in a county that went 30 points for Hillary Clinton the year before I got elected. And the year after I got reelected, won 10% for the two Republican state candidates. So our record of keeping taxes low, keeping people safe, and leaning into innovation has created, prosperity. We're number one in wage growth. We have the lowest unemployment in America. We're number one in tech job growth, which are the jobs of the future. And that's how we create prosperity for a country. I'm running because I don't think there's anybody that's better capable to turn our country around in this particular.
I wanted to ask you about your love of cryptocurrency, but they tell me we are out of time. Plus, I think we may have frozen up briefly there. Robin, we're out of time, right? Okay, we are out of time. But please come back. Mr. Mayor, good luck in your campaign. Enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, and GOP candidate for president. We'll see how it goes. Thank you.